We got a little Aces High playing. Welcome, everyone. Sorry for all the chaos with the start time. I'm just going to stop the music. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ask Adam Live, the first live stream of 2026. Have not done one of these in a little while, and we have not done a solo, just me talking on a camera here in maybe years, to be honest. Like, I can't remember the last time. But it's so good to be here, and thank you all so much for your support of the show for all this time. Also, I'm realizing my webcam's up here, but my screen's down here, so I might be looking down a little bit during it. Hope you all forgive me for that. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Really excited. I want to give a shout out to Alex and Philippe for helping with the live stream, helping to moderate the comments. I think it's going to be a really, really big help to actually, not have to focus on pulling comments while I'm answering them. That's always a tough thing. Even with when we do like the two-person live streams, if it's like Brian and I talking or whatever it may be, one of us is always like having to, scroll through while the other's answering. It does get tricky. So that'll be a big help. I am excited. Awesome. Before we jump in, I did want to actually shout out a few really awesome projects that came out that I was thankful to be a part of. First, we have 100 OSC tips by MsBonnieArt. Now, all these I put in the YouTube description of this video, so you can check them out. It's a really awesome compilation of 100 tips from 100 different OSC creators. It's really, really amazing, and Bonnie did an amazing job organizing the whole thing, bringing it to life. I have a little tip at the very end, but there's so many amazing tips from some amazing people in the community. I recommend checking that out. We've also got BFDI Season 6, which I know is a big surprise to the audience, but I think it came out awesome, and I'm really, really excited for Sam, Florence, Carrie, Michael, the whole team. BFDIE Episode 1, I'm the voice of Sidewalkie! So that'll be fun. It's really very similar to the Life Ring voice, but, not sped up like 25%. So it's got a little flair to it. And lastly, there's BFPOR 5 by WoopDoo. It stands for Battle for Palace Object Reloaded. And I am a character named Mr. Jam. I'm, a fun role in the episode. Highly recommended. Shout out to Cake Brunch also, Charlie, who I know was instrumental in that episode. And yeah, they're both just super talented. Go give that a watch if you can, because it's really cool. Awesome. But yeah, this is really just a fun Ask Me Anything kind of live stream. I've not done one of these in a long time, but I figured it'd be a fun way to kick off 2026. And yeah, honestly, I'm ready to jump in. And yeah, just excited to be here. Also, we got the subscriber count over here. We recently released a short where we basically had Fan and Apple kind of teasing, oh, what's behind this door? The secrets will be revealed at 900K. So yeah, we're not going to reveal what that is until we actually hit that number. But we're, already getting close. The other day we were at 867, I think. So we've already almost gone up 4,000, which is really cool. Actually, I'm realizing before we jump into questions, I have a little update regarding the merchandise, which I want to say, as many of you know, that has been very chaotic. We recently opened our new official store, InanimateSanity.com. So we had a slew of new merchandise. We had an awesome hooded blanket with like all the characters on it. We had a new Season 4 t-shirt and 5 new plushies that we announced. We released all of them around Black Friday time. So thank you to everyone who bought the merchandise. All of that money did directly go towards supporting the show directly and not in someone else's pocket that is not us. So thank you all very, very much. We've received a lot of feedback on the characters that have sold out. And I did want to say to everyone who purchased Blue Lightbulb, congrats, because, once it was sold out, it was gone. And we do not have plans to release it again. But I have a fun announcement. I have 3 plushies here that I wanted to show off that we're aiming to release in, I guess next month in February. We'll announce them when they're officially ready for sale, but I'm going to show them off. You may not have been able to get the blue light bulb, but we have the yellow light bulb coming. And, classic light bulb, we're excited to have her back. Oh, there she is. So yeah, it's literally just, it's like the exact same model as the Blu-ray light bulb, but it is now her classic yellow look. And she's looking actually the other way. So the eyes are just flipped the other way, which is a fun little detail. So if you have yellow light bulb and blue light bulb, they'll be like looking at each other, which is cool. We've also we have Bot here who also sold out. Now, we received some feedback that the original Bot plush was a little bit too small. Now, the thing is, we wanted to go in having all of the characters be as much to scale with each other as you can. So if you have the collection, bot does appear to be more in scale like they are in the show, but people wanted them to be a larger plush. So we decided to scale bot up slightly. So now this is them in comparison to Lightbulb, but it will be slightly more expensive because we did scale it up. So that is kind of the caveat, but we're releasing the larger version of bot very soon. And now we have a third one, which is a new release. Now I say new, it isn't really new. We've released a version of this character in the past. And this is maybe the worst plush we've ever made. It's a character that has a very specific shape that was very hard to get right for a very long time. But so we really put in a little extra effort to try to get it right. And we have here, he is out of the hospital to make his debut to our store. It is Fan. There he is. Look at that. Hold on. Here's his limbs. But yeah, I'm really, really proud of how this one came out because this shape was very difficult to get right. But you can see the little yellow pieces are actually, you know, separated. They're attached on. So he really has like a very fan-like shape. He's got all the shading and he's got his signature bow tie, which you can actually remove. It's magnetic, which is pretty cool. So you can just put it right back on, you know, and adjust it how you want. So yeah, the Fan plush will be coming as well with yellow Lightbulb, the scaled up bot, and 2 more that are also re-releases and redesigns that we will announce at a later time. But I thought it would be fun to show all of these new ones together. So yeah, merch update. Very excited. All right, now I am excited to actually get to the Ask Adam part of this live stream and just answer your questions. Again, if you have not subscribed to Animation Epic, you know, look, you can be one of these 871,000 people. You know, help us get to 1 million. Come on, like we've been on YouTube for almost 15 years. We want to hit that, you know, gold play button. All right, I'm ready to jump in. If anyone, all right, here's an awesome one from Pen3Ammonium. Thank you so much for your generosity with the super chat. How did Baseball and Nickel become friends, or were they made to be? A lot of evidence pointing in that direction. I've been dying to know. All right, here's how I think about it. I think a lot of the characters' pre-existing relationships, Baseball and Nickel included, were probably set up by MePhone as a part of their programming. But anything they've developed naturally beyond that point is really, you know, in their hands beyond just how they were created. So I think, you know, they were kind of made to be friends, but at the same time, if they were to have disconnected after that point, they would have. I think there's a genuine relationship there that went beyond just how they were made to be. So that is my answer. And yeah, I think Nickel, we're good friends. Yeah, we are. All right, there we go. So thank you so much for your question. Ooh, from Ender SMO. Adam, will any BFDI cast ever come back? For example, Pencil and the Announcer. Well, in the remaster, we are still making Season 1 Remastered, and if any characters who originally appeared in Season 1 from BFDI, they will appear again in the remaster, barring anything, you know, that I'm not thinking about right now, but I know Fiery appears. So yeah, and any characters that appeared in the Season 1 Remaster could theoretically appear in Season 4 too, because as we kind of clarified with Pencil, they're all created by MePhone, those versions of those characters. So the Pencil in BFDI is not the same Pencil as the one in II. Clearly, they have a lot of similarities, but they're not the same exact character. So the answer is maybe. I mean, definitely in the remaster and maybe in Season 4. So we'll have to see. But really good question. Oh, man. 6 Soupies. Thank you for your super chat. Does it hurt voicing Sidewalkie? Not at all. I love doing this voice because it's really fun to be such a jerk. It is fun too, because Nickel is such a happy-go-lucky, you know, positive character in BFDI. It is fun to do a voice that is a little bit more gruff, and you know, at least from what we've seen in episode 1, he's not a very nice character. He's kind of rude. But listen, BFDIE has all been written already, so I can't, you know, get into anything with future episodes. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. So whatever happens with Sidewalkie, you know, we'll have to see in the future episodes. Awesome. So Megan Pierzekowski GI5UD, thank you very much for your super chat. When will the 2026 tour dates be released? We are waiting to plan another summer trip until we know the Seattle dates. thank you so much for your interest in coming to the tour. So we have not put out a formal announcement yet, but we are planning to bring the BFDI and II tour back for 2026. I am imagining that the firm dates and info will all be revealed in April when we typically announce all of that stuff, but just know we are very excited for it, and there will be some cool things that it's going to make this tour a little different than the previous ones that we're really excited about. But we can't get into it right now, but I would say April. Keep an eye out for that. I'm sorry, I wish I could announce it earlier. Will we see Android devices in the series from Pest57? I know that there was an Android comment in the original season 1. So I guess in their world, maybe theoretically the androids exist, but I don't think they exist on the level that Meeple does. So yeah, I think in terms of it being like a very long-term arc, maybe not, but I don't want to say maybe I'll change my mind, but at least for now, I don't think that it'll be a big part of the show. All right, from Kuro Setsu. No idea if anyone's asked this yet, but people are dying to know if Test Tube actually said something in that scene with her and Fan in the hospital. So when I recorded that, I did not say anything of note. I think I just really went in like, no, please, oh no. Like, I don't think I said anything specific. So I really appreciate the fans, trying to dig in and see if they can pull like some secret lines, but that was not the case. I think I just cried. But yeah. Sorry, I know that's a lame answer, but it's just the truth. Ooh, Riders Universe 2369. Would you consider, sorry, I want to read this in the caps. Would you consider Inanimate Insanity to be on a streaming service? So we have been, I will say, we have been reached out to. So it is not in the cards, but I have nothing to get into right now. But I will say, yes, I would absolutely consider it. And maybe it'll happen. But that's all I can say. Sorry, but great question. Yeah. Man, these are really good questions. Like, you all are killing it. So, from Nether Kingdoms. Hi, Adam. Do you know if we're going to get more Tissue screen time? He's my favorite character. Love the show and can't wait to see more. So Tissues will get more screen time, and I think any character that is not in kind of like the main cast of season 4, they will be a part of season 4. We really wanted to focus on the main cast for these first few episodes to really like build kind of that normalcy of the season. But he will definitely appear in the future, and we've not forgotten about him. He is a great character. We're excited for him to get more screen time. So don't worry, he'll be back. Yeah. Adam, I have a question. You know how Fan has a game Bible? Why is Fan worshiping the game? Is the game like a god, or does it have an entity towards it? I'm asking. So good question. So a game Bible isn't really a Bible. It is a term I think used in game terminology often to be like, these are the God-given rules of the game, right? So I know that there are some, I guess, religious tones within the season with how Cammy is treating Mephone like a god, and so I could see why maybe the game Bible could have a bit of comparison, but no, there is not the game is not a god. There's no entity separate of the game. That is just really a book that he made to be like, everyone, these are the rules of the game. You must follow them to a T. Like the bow tie, the rules must be firmly planted. There you go. Great question. Hey, Adam from Artsy Doggy Official. I'm so glad the new merch website is here, and I'm hoping to get a plush. Also, if you had to pick a favorite episode, what would it be? That's a hard one. My favorite episode, I still really liked season 2, episode 16, which is the episode where we reveal, Cobb's, just kind of dropping that main bit of lore of Mephone creating all the contestants. That was such an awesome revelation for the show. I don't think we've had anything quite like it in a while. And season 4 just started. So like, it's not, we're building to a certain story. That's, basically the finale of the previous season. So of season 4, I really enjoyed both. I've liked all the episodes that have come out, but I think episode 2 being a part of the tour was really fun. and just really announcing the whole cast and the game, and Jack, taking test tube down, almost killing her, was so exciting. And of course, the moment where Fan in episode 4 gets obliterated with a lightning bolt, and Poppy spinning the wheel and getting saved. There was a lot of excitement with that episode. So I'll say 2 and 4, but I really like all the episodes so far. And episode 5 might be my new favorite, but we'll have to see. Great question. All right, from Muffy U999. Hey, Adam, how did you react when your name appeared in a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book? All right, so for anyone who's not aware, in one of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, there was a kid named Adam Katz in the book. I don't know the author of this book series, and there's no affiliation. I think that was just a crazy coincidence, or maybe he's a big II fan. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't have much of a reaction other than that's pretty funny. So wish I had a more crazy reaction, but that was pretty funny. From Captic Pod. Will II have more songs? The BFPOR 5 song was peak, and I hope the OSC has more songs and II keeps on making them. So that's why I'm wondering. Great question. There will be more songs. We are always cooking some new musical numbers. But yes, that episode was awesome. Shout out to whoever created that song. It was great. The whole episode came out amazing. And again, if you want to watch BFPOR, the link is in the description of this live stream. Shout out to WoopDoo again. And yeah, there will be more songs. So no worries. Tangy Bite. Hey, Adam. I watched the 100 tips video recently, and it was awesome. Is there anything else you wish you could have added? So I always give kind of like the main piece of advice, like if we do like meet and greets or, live shows or anything, and people ask like, what's your main tip for making an object show? I typically will always say the hardest part is starting it all, because it is very nerve-wracking taking that first step. It's that fear of failure and putting yourself out there. The object show community, there's thousands of people now who are excited to tune into object shows, who are actively seeking out new content. And it's your first video, you put it up, you're excited, and people are now going to compare it to all these other creators who have had a lot more experience, and that's not really fair. So I kind of wanted to have my tip be more about, just like, don't be afraid of failure. People are going to have criticism. People are going to be mean, but take the criticism at face value. Like the good that people are trying to see you improve, and the people that are trying to be haters, it's a lot easier to take someone down than to make anything. And that's why people are going to turn to being haters. So I really just wanted to make that clear, because when II had first started, it received a lot of hate, and I almost actually did not make another episode after the first one. But shout out to Brian Koch and Michael Brazone. They were like, no, you have to keep going. So I continued beyond the hate. Beyond that, other advice, that is a good question. I would say make sure with your team, I think working on communication is the key. I think there were a lot of really great technical tips in that video on how to improve your art or animation. And those are all amazing. But I think team building and really being pointed in your communication is really important when you're working with a team that's all online. It's a lot harder to be as direct with your communication. So I'd say, really try to be direct with your feedback. Don't assume that everyone can read your mind. Be very specific. If there's something you want changed, or there's someone on your team you're working with, don't assume they should be able to read your mind. Learn to be very pointed with your direction. Great question. Super Amy fan videos. First of all, thank you for making II. It's my favorite object show, and I've been a huge fan since 2017. Wow. Thank you so much for all your years of watching the show. Anyway, do you have any voice acting tips for some up-and-coming VAs in the OSC? I think Skylar, shout out to Skylar, who does the voice of Bo, I think relayed this tip. Whatever you think, if you're in the booth giving it your all, whatever that is, it's going to show up as like 70% of that on screen. So go really over the top in your recording sessions, because people can't see your face when you're voice acting. So really just push it to the limit. If you go at 100, it's going to appear as 70. So go 140% and it'll appear like close to 100, if that makes sense. Really go for it. I'm sure to me that, like, in my head, I'm like, I kind of yelled that. I'm sure to you all, it sounded like a normal read. So that is my tip. Great question. Ruby Rube STR. If Cobbs never destroyed the other two kernels, would have there been other poppies? Ooh, really good question. Okay, so this is a very common fan theory that people were very perceptive in the season 2 finale that Steve Cobbs rips 3 corn kernels out of his head and throws them on the ground and stomps on 2 of them. One of them flies off in the distance. And many have said that that may be Poppy, the 3rd kernel. Now, this has not been explored in the show, and I'm not going to announce anything like that on a live stream. So you're going to have to wait and see. I'm sorry, but very good observation. We'll have to see. From Librarify 4488, will II4 episodes come to theaters next? Ooh, it's a really good question. Well, you could argue that an II4 episode already has come to theaters because we did the tour last summer where we revealed the first 2 episodes of the season. I want to talk about the theater releases because I know this has gotten a little bit of attention from the community since BFDI started doing the theater screenings. First of all, how awesome is that an object show, BFDI, which is obviously the main object show, is now in theaters around the nation? Like, that is insane. I know that like it's more expected now because now they're going to be doing their 3rd release in theaters, but that is a huge achievement for indie animation. So I do want to like make that clear. Like, this is not normal in a good way. Like, this is really exciting. These are things that really large indie productions haven't done that BFDI has done. Now, the answer, I will say yes, but I will say that it will not be a super regular thing. There is many of you may be wondering, there's a big milestone for the show coming up. It is coming up very soon in the next few months. So there may be something very exciting that will be happening on that date. So we'll be getting into that in the future. I'm not here to confirm it here on this live stream, but the answer is yes, but the answer is that it will not be a super common thing for Inanimate Sanity. I think we're going to reserve it for special releases. But great question. Pins win token collection. Will there be any more live streams with the II cast? I always love rewatching them. I think you're referring to when we do the character live streams. I would love to do one. So the answer, we'll do one in the future for sure. I think they can be very taxing being in character for hours straight. But we do love doing them. When there's an event that makes sense where we're able to connect it, we'll absolutely do that. I really wanted to have this one just be a casual, like, getting on live stream, being able to have a direct one-on-one with the audience. But yeah, in the future, not only will we have the character live streams, but there will be, other members of the team here with me, not just me. I thought Ask Adam would be fun for the first one, but great question. All right, from Kirk Zindel. What's the in-universe explanation for why Spiky and probably Telly and Magic 8 go by new names in season 4? Also, in Kick the Bucket, who is Bo texting? Okay, so for their new names, there's not an in-universe explanation. I think you could argue that maybe they have a new nickname. I think there's obvious reasons why we decided to rename them. I think for Telly and Magic 8, the BFDI counterparts to those characters, so TV and 8-Ball, they're very fleshed out characters in the BFDI universe, and it felt like kind of just having them be direct copies of those characters felt kind of like we can do something a little interesting here. They're not very explored in the canon of the show, so it felt like a good opportunity to kind of have a nice reset, especially with Spiky being a more prevalent character in season 4. Also, I really like the gag in season 1 remaster where Magnifying Glass is like, oh, we're done for, aren't we? And they like shake 8-Ball and it has like the little note like, yep, yes, we are. That was a fun new gag that we were able to do with Magic 8 being a Magic 8-Ball. Spiky, I mean, the original name, there's some problems with that, so we decided to go in a different direction. But listen, I know people are upset about that, but it's the way it has to be. I'm sorry. Don't come for me, okay? We're doing our best. Great question. Pinky Party. Also, again, for all these super chats, it really means a lot. Are there any other plans for the show beyond season 4? I know many have asked about anything similar to the character streams, but I'd also love to see more small shorts in the future. We'll do shorts in the future. I think we're juggling a lot right now with season 1 remastered and season 4. Season 1 Remastered will not go on forever. And then when a whole season is done, we're not going to start doing Season 2 or 3 Remastered. So like at that point, we'll be able to explore new options. And that'll be helpful because it has been tricky to do both seasons. I will say doing Season 1 Remastered has been really, really great in terms of being able to have new viewers be able to watch the first season and actually not hate it. But also, you know, for current viewers, a lot of them express it was hard for them to get their friends and family into the show because it just didn't age well. The first episode is about them literally jumping into poop. Did not age well. So this has been a good way for people to get their friends and family into the show. And I really like it. I know that people that grew up with the original Season 1, I completely understand why you may not like the remaster. The good news is the original Season 1 will always be up on YouTube. And yeah, you know, like this is really good for new viewers. And I think there are a lot of returning viewers that also really like the remaster. So I'm really proud of it. Our team has been doing an amazing job. So yes, the answer to this question, that was a very long-winded answer, but there will be more additional content in the future. Object Show fan, haha. Will Niphone 4 ever come back in a future episode? The good news is, speaking of Season 1 Remastered, he is very much in that season. But Season 4, yes, he will be in the season. We really wanted to start off the season really getting into the society without his involvement, which is really kind of the theme of the Season 2 finale, is him having to let them go to be able to, you know, be themselves, really separate of him. And it didn't feel like it would be doing the story justice to have him just show up again right off the bat. But we have a plan for his story, so just stay tuned. He is my favorite character, so just know I will not be giving away my favorite character like that. He will be back. We have a plan. Samuel the Catty. Hey, Adam, just a silly question, but do you keep trinkets given to you by your fans? I absolutely do. I want to just say to everyone that comes to our live events, like, you all make the most awesome fan art in the world, and it's been amazing to just see your creativity. Like, it's incredible. I have right here, it might be plugged in. I'm going to try to grab it. Okay, it's not plugged in. This is a really awesome nickel 3D printed lamp, which is really awesome. It even comes with a plug. And I have it here on my desk, and it's a really, really cool addition to my setup. How good is that? It looks so cool. I mean, I wish I still had, they put their like business card on here. You know who you are, whoever made this. I'm so sorry I don't remember your name right now, but huge shout out. You did a phenomenal job. And this is just one of the awesome things I received during the tour this year. But yes, I absolutely keep things. There is a lot. So what we'll do typically when we finish the tour stops, we'll typically take all the fan art, package it in a box, and mail it over to LA, depending on where we are. But we do keep all of it. So don't think we throw it out or anything, because we don't. So thank you all for the fan art. It is amazing. From Valuvzi, great name. Will Silver and Paintbrush ever interact again? If so, do you think they'll make up? I don't think Paintbrush and Silver are in a bad place currently. I feel like their current relationship is probably more neutral than anything. But yeah, we'll see them interact again for sure. I know I was happy to see Silver have at least a line in the last episode, which was fun to have him make an appearance. But he'll be appearing in the season again. I know Paintbrush has been a little bit more prevalent in the season than Silver has, but they will interact again. I don't know which episode, but it'll happen. From Dizzy000. My mom and I wants to know why you made II. This is a good question. Why did I make II? Well, I've always been a huge art and animation nerd ever since I was a kid. Literally, when I was like a little kid, I would just pause my TV and just kind of doodle whatever I was watching at the time, whether it be like SpongeBob or whatever cartoon. I just loved drawing, period. And I'd always do like Photoshops and like, you know, I made my own little art and animations when I was younger. But II was really like my first animated project that I had created. And it really all started from watching the original BFDI back in 2010. Now, you have to remember, BFDI had very few viewers at the time. I think maybe each episode had a few hundred views at most. Maybe I'm underselling it, but like It did not have many viewers. So the fact that like I guess I was kind of like, there's debate on this actually. There's debate that there was like an object show that even happened before Inanimate Insanity, but yeah, basically like what's it called? Yeah, I just thought I was so inspired by BFDI that I really wanted to like do my own spin on this, spin on the show, and create kind of like my own little version. And that's how Inanimate Insanity was born. And it really taught me so much about how to make my own project, just having to make a new video every month. And that's what I think was so special about the original BFDI, was not only was it made by two people who were literally my age, which inspired me like, hey, listen, I don't need to wait however many years to start making a show. I can make it right now. Like the tech is available, which is very, you know, it's a message that gets lost a lot because you see these like TV shows that have millions of dollars behind them on like, you know, network television or streaming. You don't have to wait to be put on that project. You can start right now. Like the tools are available to you. So I think, yeah, seeing kids my age make a show like that and then be able to do it on such a fast turnaround was really like the kick that I needed to like really want to make my own project. So I guess that's really why I made it. And I learned so much from making it. I can't believe that we're coming up on 15 years now. That is insane. So yeah, great question. Let's see here. From Mossy Claw, who was the first character made and who was the inspo? Also, can I get a don't worry, guys, the latest episode was fan made. Fan of the okay. Test tube. Okay. Don't worry, guys, the latest episode was fan made. A fan is A-okay. All right. Yeah, there you go. Test tube says it. Why does Apple like big doors? Well, I will say shout out to our two amazing animators, Brown Scarf and Spotlight, for creating that short. They did an amazing job, and they they did the whole short. So they have, you know, made that canon, I guess, that Apple really likes doors that are large doors. Fun little piece of lore, I guess, for the character. Anyway, who was the first character ever made? It was Nickel and Baseball in the Stupid trailer in 2011. They were the first characters not only made in the series like that we've seen, but also canonically. I think MePhone made them first for participation in the game. He's made characters before Nickel and Baseball, as we've seen in the show, but he designed them first for the game. But great question. Flyermations. Hey, Adam, when are the FLA and anime project anime project files coming out, and what will they include? Flyer animations. This is a great question, and I have good news for you. I have really good news. Now, we've been holding off, but they will all be coming out very soon, and we have a plan to release Season 1 Remastered and Season 4, all of the assets, and all of the source files from the first 3 episodes of both seasons, which is really exciting. So the animators, you know, all of you future animators out there or current animators, if you're using Adobe Animate and you want to explore these files, if you want to use them to create your own audition to work on Inanimate Insanity, you're going to be able to do that very soon. We're going to release them soon, and you'll know when it comes out because we're going to put it all over social media. So yes, there is a plan. Hopefully in the next couple months. Great question. So I'm going to take a sip of water. These are all amazing questions. While I take this sip of water, I'm going to play Aces High again. There we go. That gave me a second. Okay. Lulucifer. Sorry, I'm botching all these names. I am so sorry about that. But honestly, like, these are all great questions. And II-17, Cobb showed up. The final 4 were frozen in time in Season 3. Were Hotel OJ inhabitants also frozen in time too? And the people that left Indefinite Island? That's a good question. Were the Hotel OJ inhabitants also frozen in time? Yeah, I think when he's bouncing around between timelines, yes, that's the case. So when he's in one, the other one is on pause and vice versa. So that would be the case. Yes, but great question. That's why also, just to add to it, that's why, like, to them, it seems like no time at all. But obviously in our world, a whole season went by. Zedro Fun Times. Any tips for writing a more story-based object show? Here's what I'd say too, and we're learning this with season 4. It is really hard to juggle a very large cast. We have 24 contestants. When a character is voted out of the game, they actually are still able to come back into the game. So they're still kind of around. We have obviously all of the other surrounding characters. It's very hard to tell a story where every character gets kind of the foundation they deserve when there are so many characters. So I'd say kind of an easier tip, start small with your cast. I think that's going to be making it easier to have a more cohesive story where you're able to have every person in the cast really meaningfully contribute. Naturally, when you have a really large cast, some are just going to have a smaller role. And that is okay. But I think sometimes for fans of that character, they can feel a little bit like they're sidelined. So yeah, I would say start with a smaller cast and really just think about your North Star, like the point of your whole main ending of the story. With season 2, we have the North Star of there's Steve Cobbs, there's Mephone, there's the creation of all of the characters, that backstory, and Cobbs wanting to take control. That's kind of the North Star of that season. And then we built the game around that kind of that premise. But just think about kind of your end goal and work steps towards getting there. Will we ever get 80s Meeple lore? 80s Meeple lore? Do you mean like in the 1980s? Probably not. I don't know what you mean by that, but I apologize if I'm not understanding, but I guess not. Sorry, I apologize for that bad answer, but I appreciate your question. Hello. So how has it felt trying to incorporate romantic elements as shown between Paper and OJ? Because I have loved every bit of it, and will fan learn from what Marsh said to him in episode 2? Well, answering that second part of the question, yeah, there's clearly overlap between, the whole point of this game is you have a society where they were literally created to participate in a game, and they all acknowledge it and say, like, this was messed up. Mephone takes accountability for it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that automatically they're not going to want to compete. They're not going to want to do the very thing they were created to do. So Fan says, listen, the game isn't inherently flawed. It's what it was being created for that was the problem. It was exploiting all of us for entertainment value. There was never a interest in wanting to see us all become better people. So the point of his game is using this format to actually teach everyone lessons, be able to collaborate together. But at the same time, it's still a game show, and there's still elements of it that he was predisposed to leaning towards. And so he's going to have to fight that a little bit in this season. And I'm glad that Marshmallow spoke up. That was a really well-written scene. I believe Brian wrote it, and it was a really great scene. And yeah, I'm glad that that was on display in that episode. Romantic elements. I think I was talking about this recently with like Candace and Jeremy in Phineas and Ferb. I think that coupling in that show was like the right balance, I think, where there's clearly a romance there, but it's not like super, super over the top. Like it's clearly a part of the show, but it's done in a really, really tasteful way that I definitely took inspiration for when I was writing the 4th episode of season 4. But it's been really fun. It's been like a new avenue to explore that we've never had the opportunity to do. And I'm excited to do it more in the future. Great question. Tanny Yerbies 9011. I'm so sorry. Your name is also really cool. Hey, Adam, do you have tips for making a character breaking the 4th wall knowing they're in a show? Well, this show is very meta. It's literally about a game show where they all acknowledge they're in a game show and how they're trying to break free of the chains they were created to, it's very meta. So I would say, I think 4th wall break jokes can be really funny. If they're done too much, it can get a little bit grating for the audience, but I think do them with an intention or have it be a part of your story. Like for our story, it was very self-referential. It's very meta, but that's the point of the show. That's the main story. So if that is the main story, go for it. Lean in. DR Swag 2. Any fun facts for Belle or the other failed debuters? Belle is my favorite character and I miss her. So fun facts for Belle or other failed debuters. I will say there's been a lot of speculation whether or not Bell is still alive after being erased in the void. Now, I've said canonically, like, that does mean that they are dead. However, there will be more explored in terms of like the actual nature of that whole thing in future episodes. So we'll get more exploration of that. Do I have any fun facts? I guess I can just make one up. I'll say Belle's favorite food is string cheese. Belle loves string cheese, which is ironic because Belle string, you know. That's my fun fact for Belle. You know, you heard it here first. Johnny London, what is the state of public transportation in the II universe? That will, I guess, have to be explored in the future. I will say, like, we haven't really seen much of their society, and for good reason. Or sorry, not their society, the outside world beyond their society. And that is starting to be explored in the show, and it's going to be one of the main themes of this season. So we'll probably be seeing public transit in the future. But how their world connects to the outside world, why no one else has really stumbled in, you know, that hasn't been created by MePhone. Why is that? You know, those are all things that we really wanted to get more into. That's why I love this season. It's really like, you know, busting the door wide open in terms of like those questions. So we'll see in the future, but really good question. Welcome to Spamtopia. Okay, this is an awesome name. Nice to know you're doing more Q&As. Hope you had a nice New Year's. My question is, have you ever felt that a viewer voting felt unfair, excluding Yin Yang in season 3? I don't think it's unfair. I think if you're a show creator and you're having a show include viewer voting, you're sacrificing that control to the viewers. And I think that can create some really cool storylines. And also, there's kind of a fun being a writer and having to kind of pivot with what the viewers want to see happen. We saw that with Yin Yang in season 3. I think he probably would have lasted around the same time as he did, regardless. We did remove the viewer voting at a certain point, but he was always planned to have like a larger presence in the season. We really love Yin Yang, but I don't think it's unfair. Also, hope you had a great New Year's as well. Mine was great. Kept it more low key. We had a really nice New Year's. Thank you. Hey, Adam, sick hat, by the way. Thank you. Isn't it fun? It's not only, well, my camera's mirrored, but I have it upside down. The text upside down. Hey, Adam, sick hat, by the way. Curious, is season 4's elimination order like finalized? Also, how do you guys decide on it, especially in writing good winners and early boots? This is a really good question. So is it fully decided? I'm going to be completely transparent that it isn't, but we have 3 groups that we have created. We kind of have like the early boots we have kind of the mid game and then the end game. And we do it for a reason. It's like, if you're looking at kind of the end goal of the season, the main themes, which characters do we feel like are going to tie into that theme the most? And which character arcs do we want to explore more and have that screen time dedicated to? There's some characters that are really there to either maybe explore like a more short-term arc, or maybe they're there just to be kind of as a comedic presence, but they don't have to have every episode in the season to get into. They're probably going to be your earlier boots. I will say, though, don't take that and run with it, because there are characters that maybe seem more comedic right now that are going to go in a different direction as the season goes. And that is also thought through. But I will say the winner isn't decided yet. So we have our end game. We know who are going to be there. But yeah, the winner, TBD. Hello, Adam Katz. I am ill, and my only cure is finding out where the contestants currently live in II4. Is Hotel OJ still there, or are they in the mansion, or are they sleeping in the grass? Or, there's a really good question. So Hotel OJ is gone from season 2. So where are they living? Well, we have seen a lot of buildings that are, you know, a part of season 4 so far. We have the hospital, we have the restaurant, we have the mansion, and there may be other buildings that we haven't seen yet that they may be living in. But the answer is not Hotel OJ. We saw that it was in the void, and it is not recovered. So they are not in Hotel OJ. The mansion is a rebuilt version of the mansion that they created after the season 2 finale, which is why, you know, it looks a little different. There's no like finished roof. Space Animates. If you could switch a character from II with one from BFDI from the start, I guess that would mean from season 1. That's a good question, but it's tough because I feel like every character in season 1 really made their mark in the series. That's tricky. Well, I will say, you know what? I'm gonna say a funny thing, and I'm gonna replace II nickel with BFDI nickel, and then they'll look exactly the same. No, I'm kidding. Man, that's so hard. I feel like saying an answer will kind of, ruin one of the characters or say one is my least favorite, and that's not true. So, you know what? I will say I'll switch nickel with nickel because that would be really funny. And it would be funny to see all of the relationships change. Like, I think BFDI nickel and suitcase would have gotten along a lot better. And maybe BFDI nickel and baseball wouldn't have gotten along very well. So, that could be fun to watch. Are we ever going to get a story between Bot and Bo? You are going to get a story between Bot and Bo. And as we teased at the end of the last episode, they will be having a little chat. And what's been cool about the season 4 episodes is that they pick up right where the last one left off. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, that is the answer to that. So you will get a story. Thank you. I'm going to take another sip of water and I'm going to play Aces High again. All right. I love the rapid fire. This is excellent. And so many thousands of comments and questions. Like thank you all for showing up and being a part of this live stream. It's been amazing. If Santa Claus is a character in II, and this means he was created by MePhone, does that mean he died in the MePhone void when it was all shut down? No. So when MeLife was unplugged, the void still exists, but it's been like kind of disconnected from our reality. So MePhone can't tap into it to create anything new. But if you are in the void, there's still an opportunity for you to escape. But if you lose the game, you're dead. Is kind of the be all end all of it. So Santa could theoretically rejoin the world. I guess we haven't really gotten into, did MePhone create Santa, or is this like Santa in the real? So I guess I won't answer it concretely here, but that's a really good question. That would really ruin Christmas. Wow, these are all amazing questions. I've been a fan of II since I was very small, and I've been focused on Paper and Trophy as a duo since 2018. They both dislike Knife. I was so excited about their interaction. Will they ever interact again? Will Paper and Trophy ever interact again? They'll definitely interact again. I know that they were kind of paired in that grouping in episode 2 when they were up for elimination, and they didn't really talk very much, but they'll interact again for sure. So yeah, don't worry. They'll be interacting. I wish I had like a more concrete answer. I love your profile image too of having them both in one shot. That's cool. Hi, Adam. You were great in BFDIE and BFPOR 5. Are you going to voice in any new shows coming up? I will say there's been a lot going on with all the shows I currently voice in, as well as, running 2 seasons simultaneously, our live events, the merch store. There's been a lot going on, so I probably will not be appearing in many other projects. But when I do, you will all know. I'll give them a shout out, but potentially. But yeah, I'm really honored to be in a new BFDI season. Whenever there's a gray flat character, they know who to call. And I'm excited I recorded the whole season already, so it's all recorded. I'm really excited about some of the future episodes. But yeah, thank you. Advi Advocado 1686. How huggable is Fan? What would it be like to hug him? I want to hug Fan. Oh, well, I have news for you. I'm hugging him right now. Oh my God. Yeah, if anyone didn't see the Fan plush, I actually will note, because this is a prototype, there will be one change, which is that his teeth are embroidered here. They will match the other ones. So this is bot, where they're like cloth material instead of this embroidered material. It's like a really little thing, but that will be changed. So I guess if Fan is as huggable as the plush, pretty huggable. What happened to Magic 8, Magnifying Glass, Cookie, Telly, Rubber Ball, and Guitar? I guess all of them I'm scanning over the list to confirm. All of them are in the void. So they could theoretically escape at any moment, or they could be dead. We'll have to see in future episodes. But they are, as we know right now in the canon of the show, they are all in the void still and alive. Unless they died. That was a horrible answer, but that is the answer. So there you go. Will we ever get a current day remake of A Party? And if you have time, can you please say hi to my friend Evie as test tube? Hi, Evie! Will we get a current day remake of A Party? I mean, the original is so perfect that I don't know how you could top it, but never say never. And there may be a remake of an old II song that is happening as we speak. That'll be fun. I think you all could probably assume what it is. Season 1? Yeah. Great question. Will you make a game like BFDIE 5B? I will never say never. We don't have a current plan to make a video game. I think there's just so much going on right now that it's not really in the cards. But never say never. And I think it'd be really fun. I've said it before. If we did make a game, I think I would love for it to be like maybe a fighting game mixed with a platformer would be really cool. I could already imagine movesets. I mean, Bot with their extendable legs would be super cool. Maybe they could like shine their lights in people's faces, like, you know, could be really excellent. Fan can like spread himself and fly, you know. So I don't know. There could be cool things, but they're cool movesets. We'll have to see in the future. All right. I Eat Rocks 11. Will the characters that aren't currently competing get bigger roles in some of the episodes, or are you more focused on characters who are currently competing? I think there will be, I hate to contextualize episodes as like game episodes and out of the game, but there will be out of the game episodes that really focus on the characters that aren't competing. That will happen. And there will be episodes that focus on characters not in the game. They get a bigger presence in that episode, even if it is about the game. So the next episode being included in that. Can't spoil it, but it focuses a lot on characters that aren't competing. It is a competition episode, but it's focusing on characters that aren't part of the main cast as well. Rock ZXSQ. Considering that season 4 has the biggest cast, will this season be longer than the normal 18 episode pattern? Thank you for loving the season so far. And the answer is yes, it will be a longer season. I don't know how many episodes yet, but it will be the longest season yet. Great question. Francine Dow. Hello, Adam. My only query is what the tacos plan, or what Taco's plan with $1 million in season 1 was. I guess we'll never fully know because she didn't get the opportunity to do it. But at the same time, given, you know, kind of the programming to kind of pretend to be this villainous archetype that manipulates everyone, maybe it wasn't for a very positive purpose, but at the same time, as we're seeing with her evolution beyond that original purpose, I'd like to imagine she would evolve in the same breath and have a, you know, a happier ending like OJ did in some capacity. Taco's not a bad person. I think she was created to fulfill a certain thing that wasn't positive, and she's been able to develop beyond that. And I think that's something we're exploring with the show in general. You don't have to be what you were created to be. Leafs Nostalgia. I'm curious, will there be any BFDI and II meetups outside of USA in the future? And if so, which countries would be included in a tour list? Okay, everyone. So I can't confirm anything, but what I will say is when we talked about the tour earlier, I said there was something about this tour that was new and different, and you might be onto something, but that's all I can say. And I'll say what I said to the other question, which is that we're going to get into all those specifics in April, typically when we announce those details. So stay tuned. Paper II with a 4. Since Lightbulb got a temporary Blu-ray plush, does that mean that every Blu-ray character plush will be a thing? No, I don't think so. I mean, at this point, so much of the cast has received the Blu-ray. We have Test Tube, we have OJ, we have Balloon we saw. Like, it's going to get to the point where, you know, throughout the season, they're going to become more and more paranoid. about, you know, just this mortality, which is also another big theme of the season. So I would say no, but I think Lightbulb was like kind of the original Blu-ray character. It's been kind of her main appearance in the season, so it felt more fitting to give her that special edition. And the yellow version will be on the store soon, and this will be really a mainstay of the shop. You know, her classic look. So very fun. Great question. Hey, Adam, what's your favorite character to voice act? And I mean, overall, not just I also could use something in their voice. From BFAIP. It's a really good question. That's a tough one. I like them all for different reasons. I think I just have to be honest and say Nickel, because I've had so much fun doing his voice on both shows, but also like it's just the right amount of grating where like, test tube, if I do this voice for a long time, it really hurts my throat. Where Nickel, it's like kind of a good in-between where it's not quite as grating. Baseball, obviously, I could do for longer because it's just my voice, but like with a bit more of a shoutiness. I also really like Sidewalkie. I really like doing this, and it's just Life Ring, kind of, but more aggressive and not sped up. So, yeah, I guess that's voices. I just did a bit in all of them, so there you go. Soph is dumb. Don't say that about yourself, Soph. Okay, just wondering, how much Blu-ray do they actually have? Like, how long until they might be getting close to running out of it? I mean, hopefully, I say hopefully you don't see in the show, but again, one of the themes of this season is they can no longer be recreated after they die, and mortality is something they're all going to have to come to terms with, which is why they're really prioritizing the most fragile of contestants like Lightbulb, OJ, Test Tube, Balloon. You know, they're the most fragile. So OJ expressed concern. It's a limited resource, and we're going to have to see how that pans out in future episodes. But you're going to know if they're running out of it. I mean, it will be pretty clear in the show. Blue Start Sun Galaxy Official. Are there any characters who are outside of the game, as in no involvement or anything with the game in season 4, that will play a major role in the season? Absolutely. And I feel like you're already seeing that. Well, I guess Fan, Test Tube, and Bot are all a part of the season directly. But yes, the answer is yes. Let's see here. Sketchy Book. Hi, Adam. I'm a big fan of II, and I love Fan a lot. Is he going to be okay in episode 5? I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I appreciate you thinking of me. You know, my bow tie is off now. I don't know what that's to do with him being okay. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Wow. These comments are flying. Again, thank you all for tuning in. This has been so fun to answer all of your questions. Yeah, this is just really like, I'm so thankful for all the support with the show. Last year was such a fun turning point for the show, creating 2 new seasons. It's been really fun to see both of them now take shape with multiple episodes. Board Rock YT. Any tips for animating object shows? Because I am starting one soon. Congrats on starting your object show. I would say, first of all, definitely, I'm actually going to just plug this because this video can tell you better than I can. Watch 100 OSC tips by MsBonnieArt. It had 100 OSC creators come together to create an amazing compilation of amazing tips on how to create your object show. Link is in the description. So just say, watch that video. That can relay anything better than I can here. Miss Lava Cake. I noticed Trophy is a lot nicer to box. Does he see her as a fresh start of some kind? Since she's unaware of how he's acted in the past, is he hoping to have a shot of real friendship? I think so. I think there's a little bit of that. He, as a character, is, you know, like all of the other characters, developing beyond his original intention. And I think he has mellowed out a bit since his original appearance. He was not very nice to Box when Box was inanimate in season 2. So I think there was kind of an irony to that relationship that we had fun exploring a little bit in the second episode. We will explore more of in future episodes. And yeah, just that relationship is really fun. So I think you're onto something, but maybe it's not that direct. But it's probably more of a subconscious thing regarding that. Kristen hates LIF. We can see Nickel working at the restaurant, but most of the people working there are now on the show. How much of a workload does he have? He's really cooking up a storm in there. You know, my fellow chefs, Tea Kettle, you know, and Bonesaw, like they all left me. I don't know what's going on. I think he actually, originally in episode 4, I really wanted to explore that a little bit where, you know, Tea Kettle was creating that luncheon in the restaurant with the red team. I wanted Nickel to be cooking for them, but we just ran out of time. Like the episode was so long already. But it will be something that we see in future episodes. And Nickel will not be forgotten. But he's cooking a lot. Hi, Adam. How did you come up with the plot? Was it a random decision or was it planned out? Taco being British and evil. And thank you for making this amazing show. Taco being evil was not created from the first episode, but I did think of that idea pretty early on because Taco was very much inspired by Rocky from BFDI, where just kind of a random character that like kind of says dumb things and vomits. And I thought it would be a fun twist, kind of like the show itself, to have her just creating this all as a facade and actually having a more villainous agenda. I thought it would be kind of a fun spin on that idea of the joke character. That was kind of thought of maybe around episode 9 or 8 of season 1. So pretty early in, but not until maybe halfway through. But great question. And I'm really happy that we went in that direction because it's been fun to kind of see her evolution throughout the show. Just for a small question, how intense do you think episode 5 will be towards us, or will it be more lighthearted? It's a good question. I'll say overall, it's probably not as intense as episode 4 was, but it has its moments. And it might be my new favorite episode of the season. I don't know. It's hard. I've really enjoyed the season, but I'm really excited for you all to see episode 5. I wouldn't be terrified of it, but there's some stuff in there that's, you know, it's very aye. Hello, Adam. I've noticed that the most popular bright lights, paintbrush, test tube, etc., haven't interacted much besides their main pairings. Do you think we'll see them talk more in II4, especially with Fan right now? Absolutely. 100% we'll see them more. So I guess that's a pretty short and sweet answer. Is there a character you feel is the most misunderstood by the fandom? Oh, the most misunderstood. I would normally say Tissues, but I feel like the fandom actually has understood him more after the events of the season 2 finale. And I'm certainly not going to say Steve Cobbs. I think you all understand him pretty well. Maybe there's more to his story that at least sheds more light on how he became the way he did. So in that way, maybe he's misunderstood. But I also don't want to say that like his actions are justified because of that. So I won't say him either. Those are 2 cool characters to bring up, though, when you were talking about the most misunderstood character. Maybe Paper, I'll say right now. I think after the events of episode 4, and I knew this when I was writing the episode, this was actually something that was something I brought up while writing it, which was that given the storyline and the fact that Poppy's actions, even though they are, somewhat accidental, like clearly Poppy is pushing for this all to play out when everyone's telling them to stop, but Poppy didn't mean for Fan to get injured. But the actions did indirectly cause someone to nearly die, and I think that there's some resentment towards Poppy about that. And granted, Poppy hasn't really owned that or said, like, I'm so sorry, even if it was indirect, like, I helped instigate this. They haven't, really talked about it much. So I think there's some more to get into there with that arc. So I'll say Paper kind of right now, but I think Paper has some growth too that he needs to go through. Also, shout out again to Alex and Philippe. Thank you both so much for moderating these comments because they are flying through, and I know it can't be easy to click on one. How do you make the songs? Like, how do the voice actors know when and what notes to sing? Oh, this is a really good question. I want to give a huge shout out to Benjamin Cross. Not only has he written so many of the most popular songs in the show, so Taco's Tirade being one of them. But yeah, no, so he'll typically, when he writes a song, he will create the actual music, like the sheet music, that will then be given to all of the voice actors to follow along for the timing. We also have our really amazing instrumentalist, Adam, who will create the instrumental based on Ben's writing of the songs, and Hunter, who does the mixing. In the event that we have our voice actors record to that sheet music, they will have to sing, which is a huge task in itself. Taco's Tirade, Reagan did a phenomenal job with that performance. And yeah, all of it comes together to create the final product. We've also had other people create songs for us that have all been immensely talented too. But I think of the Ben, Adam, Hunter team first because they've created the most music for the show. In terms of the musical numbers, that's not including the score, which is done by John Meadis, which is its whole other thing, own entity. But Okie dokie OSC, will every plush that was on Creator Inc. get a remaster, or will there be some that are gone forever? All of them will be brought back, so do not worry. So all of the other ones will be brought back. The reason why we focused on Lightbulb and Bot first is because they were actually number 1 requested and number 3 requested. And number 2 requested, I will say this, all of them are in this frame right now. What does that mean? You'll have to see. They're all in the frame. If you're attentive, you'll see it. But yeah, they're all coming. We'll make them all. Hey, Adam, if it isn't too much of a bother, could you say, oh, hi to my brother, Yuri. Also, when his Fans Fantastic features coming back. What's funny is season 4 has kind of become like a really extreme version of Fans Fantastic features. It's kind of our way to pay homage to that project while proceeding with the main season. So it may not come back right away. But hello to Yuri. Thank you for watching the show. Really appreciate it. And it is not a bother at all. Thank you for your generosity. It's really appreciated. Idiotic Island! Idiotic Island! Idiotic Island! Of course I can say it. There's very mean about in that episode in season 1. Are there any updates for the MeatPad plush? How far is his current prototype with Object Show? Estimated release date? You said the plushie's to scale. Will he be big? Will he have any other features? Wow, really good question. And also, yeah, the MeatPad plush is not forgotten. Look, transparently, that situation, that was not a fun video to make, but it really felt important to be transparent with you all about what was going on. And honestly, like, that put us behind a lot. There are characters like the box plush that, you know, we made for the tour that we were never able to release online. And actually, I'm going to say this, we had paid for an online version of the box plush to be released online. And the product was not created at all. And that is a part of our legal action right now. So there's more to it than even you all know that I've been able to communicate. With legal action, you have to be a little bit careful about what you're able to share. But yeah, that sucks. And so MeatPad fell into that category where he's been now severely delayed because of the situation, but we'll release MeatPad in the future. He will be really big. He'll be the biggest plush we've ever made. So in terms of other features, I don't know if he'll talk for probably obvious reasons, but like, I don't know. We'll have to see. It'd be cool if he had a special feature. That'd be neat. How do you even make an object show? How can the actors in that make good notes and good lines for the show? It is a huge collaborative effort. And I actually want to give a shout out to Alex and Philippe, who are helping me moderate the comments, because Alex is our production manager and Philippe is our animation director. And they are 2 of the many people involved in making the show. It is not just me by a long shot. But yeah, no, it's a really collaborative effort. I think it'd be really cool to make a video of really getting into how object show, like how we make our show from start to finish. I think that'd be a really cool premise. It seems like we're having some lag right now. So I'm going to take a second to check in what's going on. So I'm going to see if I can figure it out. So I will be right back. All right, everyone, I am here. I don't know what's going on with the technical difficulties. I think our internet is just kind of bad. As I also want to just say, appreciate everyone being very patient with me at the start of this live stream, because I didn't really know what was going on with the internet. Literally 5 minutes before we went live, I got like they had to stop working, and then I got texted by our internet provider that we had an outage in our area. We had a rainstorm. I live in LA, so which is, LA really needs rain. So this is actually kind of a good thing, but it affected the internet. So maybe a little slow. My video may be a little bit laggy, but I think the internet is good enough for audio. So we're just going to keep going with the Q&A. If my video is a little laggy, I apologize, and I'm going to try to get better internet for the next live stream. So thank you all for being patient. What are your plans for II's 15th anniversary? Okay, some of you have been on this live stream the last hour and a half, potentially. And I'll say this, I talked about a big milestone coming up. I also talked about theaters. So maybe there's something cool coming out that we can't talk about right this moment, but we'll be able to get into very soon. But at the same time, 15 years, who could have thought we'd make it all the way to 15 years? And I think this 15th year is going to be the most epic year so far. We have 2 awesome seasons we're working on. I've teased a little bit about the tour so far, which we're going to get into in April once again. But there's even more surprises, in store, which I'm very hyped for. And hopefully we get to that 1 million. Look, we're so close. Look at that counter. It is almost at 900,000, and we're 9/10 of the way there. Like, maybe we'll hit 1 million this year. I mean, at the rate we're going, we will. So I'm excited for that. I want to do a really awesome live stream for 1 million. Could an II vinyl CD exist in the future? I want to give a shout out to the BFDI vinyl, because that is a really awesome product. Never say never. We have a lot of amazing music in this show. Maybe we will make it, but we don't currently have it on the plan to do. but I think it could be really cool. I think it's interesting because our audience is on average very young, and you think of vinyl, you think of a more old audience, but I think vinyl is really coming back in. So that's pretty neat. Never say never. And oh my God, thank you. A happy new year to you too. Could we have a single out of context line from episode 5? The new fan plush looks great. Thank you. I will say this looks amazing. Like, I want to do another turn, but like this shape was really hard to get right. The Creator Ink one was clearly like, I really thought at the time, fan is such a complex shape. This is truly as good as we can get it, but I was wrong. Like, we really got it a lot closer. Clearly, if you were to like compare it to like the artwork of the model, like this is a little thicker, right, than like the artwork, but like it needs to be something, right? So like, anyway, I'm really happy with the plush. An out of context line, I don't have the script with me. Let me think. It makes me feel like a fish out of mustard sometimes. I think that's a line. That's a fun line. Was there ever an object you wanted to add into the show as a new character, but just scrapped the idea? Can you tell us the object? What's been really fun about season 4 is that we've been able to like have characters that were supposed to be in previous seasons actually be part of the show. Also, I'm seeing a lot of comments about lag. I'll repeat the line from episode 5 that people were talking about. It really makes me feel like a fish out of mustard sometimes. That was the line. But yeah, no. So yeah, anyway, with season 4, there are characters like Magnet who were on the planet BFDIE on season 3 that we were able to bring into season 4, and that kind of even ties into the canon of what's it called? I think people didn't hear the line again. I'll say it for a third time after this. But that's what season 4 has been really fun to do, is like to have characters that were supposed to be another season. Magnet, one of them. Characters like Cammy, who in season 3, but at the same time, like, didn't have a big presence. So it's fun to like get more into them. I'm gonna try to turn off my camera. Will let me know if my internet is coming through. Fish out of mustard sometimes.
Hi guys. Adam did lose his internet. It went completely out in his area. So just please stand by and we'll work on getting it back up. I'll be there in just a moment. Also, I'm Alex, the production manager on II. But yeah, I'm just waiting to hear back from Adam. So hang in there. Thank you.
All right. I don't know if it's working. I'm not sure. Am I back? Can you all hear me?
You are back.
Am I back?
Yeah, we can hear and see you.
All right. So I have good news and bad news, everyone. The bad news is I am not using my internet right now. I'm using my phone's hotspot. So it is not good internet and it may fail at any moment, but it seems like I'm online. So that's good. Alex, can you hear me?
I can hear you great. I'm gonna pull up a new comment. Oh, Philippe got on it, so.
Awesome. I see it. I see it. Okay. This is good. Shout out to our production manager, Alex. Thank you. Okay, so Ender SMO, who was that? That was our production manager, Alex, who was awesome. So that is the question finally answered. I'm also going to hide this banner now. There we go. And I'm seeing that the subscriber count is now not working, but whatever. You know what? It'll remain a mystery for now. Who is MePhone 4 based off of? He reminds me of Chris McLean. Can you do your test tube impression and say, hello, Lucas? Hello, Lucas. The purgatory ghosts won't take you away. You are safe. Wahaha. Who's he based off of? I think the original premise was definitely a more standard, like Jeff Probst, Chris McLean type host who's definitely a little bit, you know, what's it called? I think it gets a little bit like Chris McLean truly became like horrific in the later seasons. I think it's a little different with II because when they die, they can be brought back to a certain degree. So like maybe not now in today's universe, but when MePhone had created the show, that's how it was. So it didn't appear to be as evil as what Chris McLean does. I'd say definitely based off of that character. But yeah, obviously there's other just other stories just from what's it called? Experiencing life and wanting to create a new fleshed out unique character that made MePhone who he was over time. Hello, Adam. Who's MePhone 4's favorite music artist and what is his favorite song by them? Who's his favorite music artist? I'm going to say his favorite music artist is Billy Joel. Because my dad really likes Billy Joel and my dad does the voice. So I feel like MePhone would also like Billy Joel. And I'll say his favorite song is Piano Man. Because it's, you know, it's about singing us a song tonight. It's very, you know, I could see it. I could see it. Maybe that's not the answer y'all were expecting, but I'll say Piano Man by Billy Joel. Is there going to be a larger arc for Cammy? Yes. And in fact, there's stuff with this next episode that might surprise viewers that is going to be fun to explore with his character. I am very excited about that. He's just a really funny character in general, and I've loved having him be a part of the show. I've been thinking about this for a while. Would food objects, cheesy apple, etc., start to mold, rot eventually, or would they be perfectly fine? I think they'd be perfectly fine. I don't think they're going to become moldy and rotten from not being regenerated. But that's a really good question because we do see like physical impacts potentially having a long-term implication now because they aren't being recreated again. But I don't think apple and cheesy are going to become moldy. Like that's not something we're really going to get into. I think they were created. Well, cheesy, for example, is a block of cheese. He's also a block of cheese that was created to be a living, breathing person. So I think like, you know, that's going to be a part of his anatomy, I should say. I don't think he's just going to become moldy and rotten after a week like a normal cheese would. Could you give some insight about knife and suitcases dynamic? Sorry, I'm just trying to load the YouTube subscriber counter, but I don't think it's going to work because of the mobile hotspot. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on it. I think I'm just going to let it go. There we go.
Yeah, that did just lag your video, so it might be good to not do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good point. So the subscriber counter is gone. That is okay. You all, it could be at 1 million right now. You just have to see. Also, here's what I'll say about this, and this internet thing sucks, but I think it's a really good representation. I think a lot of people think that we are like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, like we are this large network. Like we really aren't. Like this really is like an independent YouTube production. I am in my house and my internet went out. And so now the live stream went bye-bye. And that is just part of the game. Okay. Could you give some insight about Knife and Suitcase's dynamic post-season 2 finale? Do they still talk? Why did Knife get the privilege of being on stage with the OSC? Yes, they definitely do still talk. And I think that in terms of him being on stage with the OSC, I think they all feel a certain obligation to Knife for being a huge instrumental part in saving all of their lives. You know, he was up there with Suitcase. He devised the plan to, you know, basically, I guess with Toilet, unplug Me Life that set everything into motion. And I feel like, they all almost look at him as a, representative of the OSC, maybe in like a OSC light kind of way. But yeah, they're dynamic. They're still very good friends. They're very close, and we'll see more of their dynamic in future. Are you guys going to do something with the limits of the merch shipping? I'm from South America, and I tried to buy the Blu-ray light bulb, but it said it wasn't available for my zone. Unfortunately, at least for now, for the time being, there are certain territories that we're not able to send merchandise to. We are working to expand that in the future, but right now, those are the current limitations we're dealing with. But we may, though, in the future. We're trying to. It does get very tricky with product and shipping it internationally, because we are fulfilling all of the orders from the States, from America. But yeah, no, so never say never. And really appreciate you wanting to purchase merch. Like, really appreciate that. Was there ever an object you wanted to add into the show as a new character, but just scrap the idea? Can you tell us the object? I said before, Magnet was a character in season 3 that we were going to add, and ended up, not going with that, and then adding her to season 4. So there are characters like that kind of, became a part of a future season. Also, I don't know if a lot of you know, but Microphone appeared in season 1, which was funny, like before her actual reveal as a contestant in season 2. But yes, no, so a scrapped idea. I know there was a character, Goggles, that was supposed to be like a test tube like character scientist. I think maybe even that was a character we had thought of before test tube was settled on. But yeah, there's a lot of variations like that. Yeah, I guess that's one, Goggles. Hopefully my internet's still working. Bendy Fan Animations, really excited to meet you again at the 2026 tour. The one question I got in mind is, what do you look forward to the most when bringing on future animators and crewmates? I really love seeing so many of the people who work on the show now are fans of the show and grew up maybe watching the show and getting into it that way. And I think it's really cool to see that passion for the show be brought onto the team, where not only do people just want to animate the characters for the sake of being a part of the project, or like, just getting paid to do animation, like they genuinely love the show. And I think you can see that in the show. And I love that. Yeah, I think it's great. And we're seeing that a lot with like IP in general now. Like a lot of people that are working on main IPs, things like Spider-Man, Mario, like they grew up being huge fans of it. And you can see that passion in the project, like when it's released. So I'll say that. But thank you for your question. Appreciate it. I need to know more about Salt. Why does she like OJ so much? Is it because MePhone made her like that? That's a good question. Did MePhone make Salt like OJ? I'm actually going to say no to that. I feel like that may have been a relationship that had developed naturally outside of her programming. And I say out of her program, it's like this way, right? Presents a certain show, but at the same time, like able to build new relationships and live your life beyond that point. So I think maybe her. Oh no, the line's coming back, I think.
Yeah, Adam, I think this question's cutting out right now. Blech.
All right. Can y'all hear me? I'm hoping it works.
Yeah, you're back now. I think.
Okay. I'll tell you why I went out again. It's because MePhone X got me. No, it's because my computer decided to connect me to the Wi-Fi that's broken instead of my hotspot automatically for no reason. So
You did
anyway,
cut out
I'll
with the
answer this
last question. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think for Salt, this relationship was developed naturally. MePhone did not make Salt have a crush on OJ. And I think it's just another example of characters being able to build new relationships outside of what they were created to be. So that is my answer there. And I wanted to get that answer out there because I didn't want Spectrum Wi-Fi to win in this battle. I want to win the fight. I'm a pretty new fan, Feb 2025, and I really want to know how the fandom was like in 2020. Could you go over some of the main events in that year? Well, there was like a huge pandemic in our country and beyond the whole world that played a pivotal role in 2020. But I will say, I guess there weren't really any events because of, just everyone being obviously social distancing and everything during that time. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there weren't really any events. They weren't really online. I think the only episode we released that year was Hatch the Plan, which was season 2, episode 14. And that was a really pivotal episode for the show. It had a very long-lasting impact. So yeah, I guess that was really the only notable thing. A random character. Fan is okay. There's a random one for you. I've been a fan of II starting back in July 2017. Thank you so much. If you reach 1 million subscribers, what is your future video plan? Oh, for when we hit 1 million? Well, one thing I really want to do is have a big live stream celebration and celebrate that way and just continue to make the show. I think it would be really fun to have like a specific short or video dedicated to the 1 million, but I also think our team is working so hard on the 2 existing seasons that I kind of just want them to prioritize the content that you all want us to prioritize. So I'll say it'd be awesome to have a big celebration like that while also really focusing on the show. But yeah, really appreciate you watching for 8 years. That's amazing. Or I guess 9 years now. We're in 2026. So that's wild. Also, shout out to Verizon. This hotspot is not too bad right now. That's pretty crazy that a hotspot is carrying a whole live stream. Now, the subscriber counter failed, but like that's still pretty good. What's bot's reaction time exactly? Like reaction time, like I don't know exactly what that means. Do you mean like if someone tries to like kick them, will they react quickly? I guess pretty quick. Wait, let's see. That was pretty fast. So that's my answer. Donating again because I need to get my answer. Thank you so much, Assam101. Where is Baxter and how is he doing? Also, hi, Adam. I am so awesome. Thank you very much. Where is Baxter? Baxter's with the characters that are not participating in the game. I'd assume that, they're in good care with Paintbrush. But we have not revealed where they're all living as we got into earlier they're obviously a part of the society, but we don't know like where each character is living, what buildings specifically and whatnot, but they're with Paintbrush. So that's the answer. How does Fan feel about fandom spaces? Someone with more money than me asked, I'm very invested since Fan. Well, do not worry. Your question is here right on the show. Mikos Mausolium. Appreciate that. I think Fan is really appreciative of fandom spaces and the ability for people to connect over a shared love of media. I will say, what's it called? What's really cool, I think we were getting into this before with the theater screenings. One additional thing that the theater screenings do really well, the tour clearly even more so because there's just more people, but it gives a space for fans of a very niche media to all get together around their love around that media and be able to meet. There was one group of 4 kids who were at the Chicago event this year. Shout out to you guys, but they all came to the VIP table and said, hey, we met at last year's tour and we're now really good friends and came together this year. And that's just really what all these events are really about. And I just love seeing new relationships being built from this show, from BFDI, from just the OSC in general is very cool. So I think fan would approve of that. I really like fandoms. They're so good. I'm sorry, Brian. I don't have a good fan impression. What happened to MePhone 4 after the finale? And where did he go? I also created the nickel light box. Oh my God, Critter Prince 3D. Thank you so much for coming onto the live stream. That is such a nice bow on this whole thing. They are the creator of this amazing light that is on my desk. Critter Prince 3D. We're going to find out in future episodes. That's a part of the season's arc. Where did MePhone go? So I cannot reveal it right now, unfortunately. I love that you came back into the live stream. That's awesome. Anyway, whatever happened to Nikolay since we only saw him in the remaster of season 1? I guess he falls into that category with all of the other characters we had gone over already, like Pop-Tart. Well, Pop-Tart, we actually kind of know what happened to him. But, all those characters that are in the void, Santa, we talked about. Nikolay is in that same boat. So if we have not seen him yet, that means he is in the void or played the game to get out of the void and failed, or he succeeded and is a part of their society and we haven't seen him, but that's not likely. But yeah, no, really good question. Nikolay was created by MePhone, if that wasn't clear. Would Metag attempt to apologize to Fan if he wakes up? We'll have to see, but there's clearly, a lot of you noticed this in the episode, but he, what's it called? Metag, had a moment at the cliff's edge where, they tried to save Fan and couldn't quite do it, and you see kind of this almost look of regret. And Metag immediately, when they see Fan in danger, they turn off the projection and run to save them. So they didn't wish for that to happen to Fan either, much like Poppy. So there's a lot of complexity to that character that we're excited to get into. But yeah, no, the Fan Metag story is not over yet. Do you plan on adding translations or subtitles for your show in the future? Yes, the answer is yes. I've been very slow and behind on that. Honestly, just being transparent with all of you, there's been so much going on that I've been a little bit overwhelmed. But that is something we want to prioritize for sure. And I think it's really important, not even just for other languages, but also just to have English subtitles for people who are hard of hearing. I think it's very important. So these are all things that we need to address and get done. I really big fan of Cobbs. Will he get a backstory of him? Why is he so evil? You're onto something. I can't get into everything yet, but I know we've said it in previous Q&As and previous live streams that, as you saw in episode 4, there was someone theoretically from Steve Cobb's past that may have appeared. So we're going to have to see who that is and what the story is with that. But it may relay more about his character that we aren't aware of right now. Does Taco's time in the forest make her more susceptible to animalistic tendencies, like when she first got introduced into society? I would say no. She's probably not somewhat feral, but that is a really interesting thought. But I would say no to that. But that is really cool. Also, I will say, I know that we had some technical issues. We are going to try to wrap at 4:15 p.m., so we have about a little over 10 more minutes. Really appreciate you all being so patient during all the technical difficulties, during the delay. I'm actually really happy that we were going to delay it to 5. I'm kind of happy I didn't do that now because at least we got an hour and a half with the internet. I think our internet's just freaking out. So I don't know. This has been really fun though. And thank you to the thousands of you who even are here watching despite all that. How close are Trophy and Box in season 4? I would say they're not terribly close. There's definitely more to the relationship that needs to get explored. But yeah, I wouldn't say they're terribly close, but maybe there's a wanting to know each other better, as we saw in episode 2. And they're on the same team, so there's more of an opportunity to interact. But yeah, that relationship's really fun. I'm a huge fan of II since the very first season. Thank you so much. Will there be another contest for the fans to enter their object OCs? Never say never. It's not in the plan right now, but I think that'd be really, really cool. We'd have a lot more submissions now than we did then. So it'd be cool to see that. Never say never. Never say never. Do you think that baseball would try to make up for not paying attention to his team in season 2 by cheering on his past teammates who are competing in season 4? I think, baseball really values teamwork in general, and I definitely see a world where he is cheering on his fellow Grand Slam contestants to do well. I think he's cheering for everyone to succeed. We saw in the season 2 finale, he just wants teamwork to prevail. He wants everyone to be the best versions of themselves. So I think he aligns with fans' vision of the season. So maybe not just his teammates, but everyone. He's a very positive presence in the show. What happened to the Prime Shimmer's wound in episode 18? Why did it vanish? Well, as we've seen with the Shimmer energy, it clearly has some regenerative properties. It's able to create things, generative properties, a lot more positive than AI. And so because of that, you could probably connect the dots that there was some regenerative ability that the Shimmers have using their energy. But we'll probably, I would say we'll get into that in future episodes. I can't see it being like a main plot line, but you never know. When the original characters OJ and Paper were created, was the plan to always have them become a couple? No, I wouldn't say since season 1, episode 1, that the plan was for them to become a couple. But I think the trajectory of the characters, it just seemed really natural to us as show creators to want to see that relationship go in a different direction. I think I've said before, like season 2's kind of main arc at the very end, the main storyline was that they all find out they're being created for a certain purpose, but they all evolve beyond that original purpose. And it felt like creating this romantic relationship felt like a clear deviation. When they were created to be competitors, they fell in love. What a cool transition. So yeah, I think that it just naturally developed. I wouldn't say it was from episode 1. Is Animation Epic's profile picture with test tube and fan a reference to Jacknjellify's profile picture with Foreign X? Actually, I want to give a shout out to Choreo, who is also helping moderate the chat, shout out, who created that profile picture. And I don't know, I guess we'd have to ask him, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some inspiration. I could see like top corner, bottom corner. The reality is like with a profile image, like there's only so much room. And so there's only so many different ways to incorporate 2 characters. We knew we wanted to have test tube and fan be in the profile picture. So I think it's just like, how else are you going to get 2 characters in there unless they're like right next to each other or something? There's going to be the angle. My sibling and I love II. We are working on a non-traditional object show. Got any tips for advertising it? I would say for advertising it, I highly recommend 2 things. One, I would use short form media to your advantage. So I would do TikTok, Instagram Reels, because, those are ways to put your content in front of people that otherwise like wouldn't see it. It's being pushed to new people who I always call like YouTube is like you are actively choosing what you click on. TikTok and Instagram Reels, you're being automatically fed what you're watching. So that's a good opportunity. It's why for the 900,000 subscriber short we just made, we did have it be short form content because the goal was to not only have our current viewers see it, but to see if we can get it in front of new viewers as well who aren't subscribed right now. The reality is most viewers who are watching our channel every month are not subscribed. So there's still plenty of people who watch us every month who are not subscribed. And that's just, for various reasons. But I would say use short form content and use hashtags. Do hashtag object show, hashtag inanimate insanity, hashtag BFDI. If there's content that you think like my show is somewhat related to that I can maybe pull in that existing audience, use it to your advantage. There's no shame in doing that. Also, a game is really cool. That is very, very cool. Will Chives and other characters from Inanimate Insanity Infinity appear in later episodes? Will Test Tube's experience from that alternate universe be revealed later on? Well, that was an alternate timeline. So who knows? Maybe in that universe, like Steve Cobbs is still, I mean, who knows? Like that whole universe is completely different. Obviously, it was teased that Mi Phone 4 is, you know, long gone potentially. And now they have these new Mi Phones that can weirdly make things. So who knows what happened there? But yeah, it's a completely different timeline in its own right. Salt and Pepper created a very, very different timeline. How did Pencil from BFDI transport into II? So we said this before, II Pencil is a different character than BFDI Pencil. They are not the same character. And so because of that, like, it's not like II Pencil is going to have any of her experiences from BFDI under her belt. She's kind of her own character, kind of similar to the Nichols, how they look the same, they sound very similar, but they are different characters who have different experiences. We have the final 5 minutes coming up. Not sure if anyone asked this, but in season 1, some of the contestants got to see the world. Will they ever get to leave the island again, or would they stay on it? It's a good question, right? Did they really see the world? Was that some sort of facade or something that Mi Phone had put on? Yeah, I would say, like, when we see like them in the real world environment, they were not really there, if that answers your question. But that's a really good point. I would say, like, the II society that we know at large, they really haven't left it, like, ever. I've been a fan since II season 1, episode 15. Wow, that is a long time ago. Thank you so much. Will Bot get stretchy arms like they drew in their concept design? Yeah, so in the concept design, I did draw that they had arms and legs that extend. We've never seen Bot extend their arms in the show. I don't think they can right now. Like, I don't think it's an ability they have that we haven't seen. I know they can extend their legs. I think people had asked in episode 4, why couldn't Bot just go over the wall? You have to remember, like, you know, it was obviously pouring rain. It was very loud from all of the rain ambiance. There was a lot of chaos going on. Bot was also trying to protect Poppy and Metag in that moment. So I don't think they really wanted to, like, immediately get over the wall. And if they were to try to like go really high up and try to shout down over the wall, I don't think they could hear them at that point. Maybe they could, like, step over the wall, go down, talk to them. But then I think they were probably worried, like, they're going to force But you need to get us over that wall right now. And so I think it was there was a lot of chaos going on in that moment. And I think getting into said chaos would kind of detract from what was going on at that time. It would be very chaotic to tell from a story perspective. But I get it. I get watching that you're not like, why can't they just step over the wall? That's so dumb. But yeah, that's my thought. That's my thought. Do you guys take fan mail? I'm a very crafty person and I have made plushies of Mi Phone. Oh, that's really cool. We don't currently take fan mail, but I know we want to open up something to receive it in the future. So when we do that, we will let everyone know. But really appreciate that. That is awesome. Will Mi Phone ever get to sing and have a figure like fan? Awesome. Yeah, of course. So Mi Phone, I should say, we still have that extended version of the song from the finale that we have not released. We really have to release. So I have to talk to John that, because we wanted to put together a season 2 back half album of, like, basically season 2B of, like, all the songs from that, like a full album of, like, his score for those episodes, including the extended version of that song where Mi Phone does sing. So he sang in that. But will he get a figure? Possibly. We'll have to wait and see. It's not currently in the plan to make a Mi Phone figure. I think I really wanted to use the figure line to really translate characters that we had trouble with the plushies doing so. So we're working on a figure right now that is of characters that we do not have a plushie of. So that is cool. And I say characters, it's a duo. It's a duo figure. But yeah, no, thank you. Tips for making interesting characters and plots. I would say, in terms of the overall story of your show, think about what that story entails and try to find a character character that really connects to that theme in a very specific way, and that'll immediately give you a lot to work with. MePhone, obviously, you have the idea of him creating these reality contestants and escaping this very, very troubled past that he's coming from. And I feel like that arc tied very directly into the season and just the whole game and everything like that. So it was very natural to write MePhone's story. But yeah, and then you think of characters like Tissues and them all being created like as stereotypes, and they evolve beyond that, but to become aware of those stereotypes, that's a story in its own right. So use the story to your advantage. Don't try to fight with it, you know, have it be a part of it. We're going to take one more question. We'll get songs like yeah. I think my internet is but the answer is yes.
Adam, I think you cut out on that last question.
Oh man, we're so well.
Yeah, we were good up until that last one. Let's see.
Yeah. Internet, am I gone at all for the viewers now, or?
This is your sound's coming through now, and
you're back now. Yeah.
Better.
Ooh, okay.
You want to re-answer that last
I'm
question?
turn my camera off. The
Okay.
answer is yes, we will. We're working on a season 2 album for the last episodes. And hi, Ruby.
Yay, we heard that.
Awesome. Okay. I think we're going to close it here then, because the internet is freaking out. I want to say this is a very lame way to end this live stream, but thank you all for tuning in. And I promise that for the next live stream, I will get better internet. So thank you all so much. You're the best.